What's up, everybody? Claudio Alegre here, and welcome to episode 6, season 3 of the Daily Pill, a webcast sponsored by our parent company, Angel Home Care Services, providing caregiving services throughout the Dade and Monroe counties right here in South Florida. So today, I wanted to talk about a topic that, unless you know some of the people I do, or unless you're a caregiver yourself, it's not something you would talk in cocktail parties or in conversation, casual conversation, or anything like that. And the topic is what to do when caring for a person with dementia. When that viciously affects you, right? When you're in the middle of that situation, I mean, you're at the brink of mental breakdown. That bad. And if you ever care about anybody with Alzheimer's or dementia, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Okay. And first it's the first thing I wanted to kind of to break the ice on this is that it is perfectly understandable and even totally okay to feel this way, to feel like you are you're going pretty much crazy. Okay. What is not okay is a couple of things that I'm going to get into as a sequel to that, right? But nonetheless, it begs the question: is how do we deal with something like that when you're in a situation where you're the primary caregiver and you are feeling completely decimated, all right? And I think that my way, and by the way, I'm not a licensed psychologist or a psychiatrist. I am not I'm not a professional that provides or dispenses advice to people that are going through mental health issues, right? There are doctors and people that do that. Everything that I'm going to talk about here is from my own perspective and my own opinion, right? And part of that opinion and perspective is that I don't believe that there's a right or wrong way to handle emotions. Certainly, if we can get down to it, sure, there's a wrong way of doing it and a right way of doing it in terms of what we all know to be right or wrong, right? But when it comes to this conversation, I don't kind of focus it that way. To me, in my opinion, there's only effective and non-effective ways. All right, efficient or non-efficient ways of dealing with emotions and negative emotions, especially when you're a family caregiver. And the reason why I like to kind of come in from that angle is because when you come in with the right or wrong, it's already a volatile situation as it is in your head, right? When you come in with the right or wrong, and you're being judgmental, you're putting more pressure than you need to on yourself, right? And it's usually not the good kind of pressure, all right? And that's why, to me, is I kind of want to leave right or wrong out of it and just talk about how effective or non-effective the way I'm feeling about something, because to me, what's most important is how self-aware, okay, you are, how self-aware you are about how you're feeling. Right. And then why you're feeling that way is the second step. It's kind of like the process that I even follow in my own day to day, and I tend to be a pretty angry guy sometimes, even though my outward personality doesn't necessarily, reflect that. If you are a personal friend of mine or you a family, you're probably just laughing or nodding your head. It goes, oh yeah, he can be pretty intense sometimes, especially when things don't go his way, right? And so my goal is to be super self-aware of how I'm feeling all the time, and then why I'm feeling that way. And I think if you're a caregiver, a person, if you're dealing with a patient, or if you're the primary caregiver for a patient with dementia, it's that situation. It may take you to the brink of collapse, mental collapse, and it's not because I say it. It's just as I talk to family members that are there, in that situation. And so I'll give you an example. So let's say that it's late at night, you've been sleeping, you wake up, there's a lot of noise in the kitchen, you get to the kitchen and you find your mom, once again making a mess in the kitchen because she thought it was time to start baking a cake, as a way to celebrate you coming home during Christmas vacation, from college, and it's 1985, right? She's completely in that mode, right? And so of course you've been doing this long enough to know that you're not going to yell at her because it makes the situation worse. But it's also not good for you to repress your anger, okay? And I think that if you need to repress your anger because you're angry at the whole situation of you having to wake up late and see that whole scenario play out in front of you, then if it made you angry, it's pretty much it's too freaking late, right? The whole point is not to feel anger, right? Even though I think the best example is, I remember when I had young kids, and my kids were little, right? They were just born, right? Not just necessarily young, but like really, really young, like when they're in cribs and stuff like that. And I remember my wife and I, we used to take turns, and I remember having to get up, pretty late at night, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. We would take turns, and actually, she did a lot more than I did. She took a lot more turns than I did. But anyways, when I used to have to get up, I remember feeling tired, but I don't ever remember feeling angry, right? Because it's understood that it's a newborn and they get hungry and they get wet and you got to change them, right? And that was part of the whole thing. I didn't need to play that, reframe that in my head. I understood it. So in many ways, sometimes family caregivers need to recognize that your mom's behavior or that person's behavior is a product of a disease. They are sick. They can't help themselves. Very much like a little baby can't help crying when they're hungry, right? And once you kind of figure that out, because I know it sounds like really simple, but sometimes you don't internalize it, and then you get angry, right? And on top of that, you're exhausted. You're pretty much. It's like people say that have low sugar, right, or something like that, and they get moody when they're angry. Similar reasons. It's perfectly okay to feel that way. But when it comes to walking into your parents or mom or whoever it is that you're caring for that has dementia or Alzheimer's, if you kind of reframing that whole aspect of things and say, look, it is what it is. They're sick. It's a disease. I don't need to continue to feel angry about this. So instead of judging my emotions in terms of right or wrong, I'm just going to try to reframe the issue from a different perspective, right? And kind of rise above the circumstances and own the outcome, as if, let me be in control. Because in a way, you kind of get in control when you do this. And that's it's an amazing way of looking at it as well, because, in a way, this is how you crack the code, right, on the unexpected and traumatizing effects of negative emotions, like anger, embarrassment, helplessness, guilt, grief, depression and worry and all this stuff. And then when you start reframing, you start turning all those negative emotions into positive ones like gratitude, joy, serenity, kindness, inspiration, love, all that stuff. And everything starts tilting, right? But the most important thing is to first recognize that it's okay to feel the way you feel sometimes when you haven't reframed the whole thing yet and you're still feeling kind of angry. But it's not okay to not recognize that you are angry and why you're angry, right? I think that reflection, that mode, when you go into that mode, is super, super healthy, to have the ability to meta think your way into that state. And it is super, it's amazingly healthy if you're a caregiver primarily caring for a person with dementia, so that you're not viciously affected for it, and that you can actually be, because you can be instrumental, right? You become part of the solution, right? Not part of the problem. So anyway, I know this is kind of like a short topic. I actually wrote a piece on this on my website at angelhomecareservices.net. I forgot. I think it's actually titled. It's titled just like that. What to do when caring for a person with dementia. It's kind of like on the blog. So if you go to my website, angelhomecareservices.net, and you go to. By the way, excuse the mess. I'm still kind of putting it together. I'm almost finished, but I know to you it may not look like it's messy, but to me it does. So, anyways, you go there, and then you go to a blog, and then the article somewhere in the first page. So pretty much I hope that this piece of advice or information kind of you can put it to good use, or if you know somebody that you feel like they could get a good information out of it. It's Angel Home Care Services. Carmen, I think I see you trying to type, it's angelhomecareservices.net. That's what that article is. And I think my information is somewhere, it's popping in and out of the screen here, somewhere down here, I think right there, that's where it's right there, So if oh, by the way, also talking about things like this is extremely beneficial, just anytime, if you're repressing your feelings, if you're not talking, then this isn't going to help you. Hi Carmen, sure, I know you and I have spoken before, let's just DM me. You have my information, give me a call. I know you're going through a rough time with your mom, yeah, just reach out to me, when you get a chance, and we can chat. I know you've been pretty busy with her care, and I've been kind of crazy too. So, let's link up, okay? All right, guys. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you here next Wednesday. We're gonna have Sunny Arfa. All right, next week. I'm just gonna no surprises here. Like, if you know who she is, okay, you gotta make it next week. She's going to take us through a guided meditation session, right? I'm not gonna keep it as a surprise. In fact, I'm promoting it all this week, and she's doing her own thing too, and we're super excited because she's awesome, and I think that we're gonna kind of like gear the whole thing towards family caregivers as well, because if anybody needs to be able to change gears in the middle of the day and reframe their thinking, and learn how to breathe and slow down your heart rate and calm down, if anyone needs that, are people that are caring for loved ones that are going through a very rough time. And Sunny's going to show us exactly how to do that next week, and I'm super excited to put that show together with her right here next week at 7:30 at the Daily Pill. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you, and I'll see you next week. Take care, stay safe, bye-bye.